Good morning. It is me, Pearl from Pearl and the Prayers. And this is Tuned In Tarot. And I'm here to look at the balance between the divine masculine and divine feminine energy inside of self. Understanding that whatever state we find this energy in, we can expect to see that reflected back to us in our outside world, in our external environment, in our interactions with others. And if we want to see change around us, we have to shift and change the energy within us. And being able to constantly relate to the other side of self through understanding your spiritual journey with the person that you are focused on or wanting to connect with is very powerful. So I'm happy to help all of us figure out how to navigate and have like pretty good lives instead of just kind of like meh, like great, like yay, I like being live. It's fun. I get to do things I want to do. So that's our goal here. All right. So let us begin by tuning in. And also I have camera 1 and camera 2. So forgive me if I'm doing that. But I'm also streaming on TikTok. So if for some reason the YouTube feed is like, bleh, you can go back and forth. And then the replay will be on YouTube at the end. The links are in my profiles for the things that one should do for energy exchange. Follow the things, share the things, like the things. And if you want personal things, the link is there to help you with that. So if you would like your own Tell Me Everything spread, or if you would just like a longer custom reading, whatever you need, all the things are below. And you can also send me a deck, which is super fun. I have some stellar decks I'm using today. They're just old ones, but I found this permutation that looks so good and is so pleasing to me. I love it. Okay. So first, let us hone in on the thing that we would like to happen that would make us feel better. What do you think right now? Like if this happened, you would just feel really good, like really, really, really good. So that is what you think you need. And now let's check and see what we actually need. Interesting. The 4 of Pentacles. That's not what I was thinking. Damn it. So what you were thinking, that was your ego. That was what your ego thinks. Oh my God. If this happens, I'm going to be like the happiest person that has ever lived. And then the universe is like, nah, but this is what's really going to make you happy. This is what's going to make you happy. So this is an interesting card. Coming from the Thoth Tarot, it has the word power on the bottom of the card. It is a card that we associate with holding things close to us, but it's strong foundation, financial foundation, material foundation, stability, reliability, those things associated with pentacles, and work. Pentacles are about doing work, to build something. And it's like the foundation of this tower, right? It's also about clinging to the material things around us, and that includes not just material, but also like people's ideas of us, our reputation, like caring what other people think, their opinions, etc. So it's all that. And when we see it in tarot as something that we need, we probably need to become more stable, have more of a grounded foundation within ourselves, which would allow us to let go of attachments. Because if you feel very grounded within yourself and in your material environment, like I'm dealing with needing to have much more comfort to do my work. Like that's important. It's important to have that. That's a basic foundational item that I need to acquire now that I've moved back to the East Coast. And that's something that will help me achieve even more stability, have better foundation to do my work. So it's all those kinds of things like securing yourself. And I think this is really a lot about letting go of insecurity itself, because that is the only thing that's holding us back in so many areas of our lives. You could pretty much break down the things you're not doing to being insecure about the outcome of those things. Like, it's pretty much cut and dry in that way. So these are some lessons we need to embrace, and letting go of old things that we thought were so important frees us to be able to find out what really is important. And having a solid foundation is just, it's going to make everything so much easier in our lives. So that's what we need today, right now, for this next week. This reading, I usually feel, gives us not a projection for what's coming, but a checkpoint. This is where you are right now, and these are the places where you can grow. And this is what you need to develop right now so that your next week will look even better. Like, that's kind of where I'm at as a reader. So if you're coming here expecting me to tell you when things are going to happen, I'm going to tell you how you can shift things inside of you to be the person who chooses when things happen for themselves. That's the goal that I have. So we're going to start today with the Divine Feminine, because the Divine Feminine had more cards showing, even though I used the vice versa tarot deck for the Divine Masculine. So technically I can see his cards, but I see the backs of the cards, which is just such a fascinating, I love that deck so much, and I can't wait to get to it. Don't tune out for the feminine, because I noticed that when I post feminine and masculine messages, this is such an interesting thing. Okay, so when I post the feminine and the masculine messages on my TikTok page, the masculine messages normally outpace the feminine messages, which I find funny, because the feminine messages are the emotional side of your person. So if you don't want to know about the emotional side of your person, and you only want to know about the intellect side of them, that what they're thinking, and like what their actions are, I feel that you're missing the point of balancing. So it's not that there needs to be more masculine gendered people watching feminine energy. It's that there needs to be more feminines valuing their perspective and feelings, and tuning into how people reflect those perspective and feelings back to us. And so when I do these readings and I go to read the feminine side of self, I'm reading your energy, and your person is going to reflect many parallels across both sides. So keep that in mind. And with that, let us begin. I'm going to do the top of the deck overall headspace for the feminine, which is the King of Wands from this Tarot of the Mystical Moments, which is an incredible deck that has multiple kings in it. There's a masculine, in quotations, king, and a feminine, in quotations, king. So there are these things that we associate with masculine or feminine gendered energies in two king cards to represent how arbitrary that is, really. But what I thought, so two things happened when I saw this card. The first thing was, I thought, oh, it's the devil card. Even though I know what the devil card looks like in this deck, there is a feminine in a red dress, but it's a different look. And I knew that it wasn't the devil, but I thought of the devil, and I thought the Divine Feminine is being devilish. That's what I thought. And then I saw, oh, it's the King of Wands, and immediately then thought Divine Feminine is taking the lead. So this is leading lady energy in a power position of the masculine energy. So Divine Feminine is truly reflecting masculine energy, and it's powerful, and it's not destabilizing, because we have this foundational start to this reading. This is a good thing. If the Divine Feminine feels capable and visionary in her own life and self, then she's attracting that same energy. And you just wait for it, because it's coming up real soon, kids. But give me one moment to give you what is underlying all of her thoughts and decisions. The Five of Swords, and I have a little friend flying around. I think it might be a little moth. Very interesting. Transformative energy coming out with it. That is what it is. Hello, little moth. Interesting. So look up moth spirit while you're at it. But the Five of Swords is the mental conflict. And what is the mental conflict? Oh, she can't stop thinking about this dead ass energy. Sound familiar? It's like fighting against thoughts of what has decayed, what has died, and really wanting to see a brighter romantic outcome, because I'm seeing this as a romantic sort of flower right now. Look at that red dress again. Her own thoughts are devilish. And devilish means like, like a malicious, persistent voice that's like whispering, you know. So she can't quite walk away completely from these thoughts. But this is a card of surrendering because you put down the sword. So surrender is necessary. It's part of the Chariot energy. It's part of being able to move forward. And yes, this is a collective reading. It's going to go on for about an hour. And if you want to see the replay, you can catch it on Tuned In Tarot YouTube. And thank you for all the likes. I'm seeing all the likes and gifts over there. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So yeah, she's surrendering to this fact that she will carry these thoughts with her the rest of her days. But she doesn't mind so much because she's taking the lead and she's becoming the leading lady. And so she doesn't mind that much. Because the first thing on her mind is the King of Wands. So I have two King, one, two. Prince is here before you. That's what I said now. But now they're kings, okay? So we've graduated. We're not seeing pages today. There's no pages up on this table as far as I can see. There's a few cards I can't see. And of course, I can't see the heart space cards yet, but there's no fucking pages. And you know what? Am I not seeing knights? I'm not seeing knights. Have we grown up? Have we matured? Are we mature now? Mature enough to take action? The divine feminine thinks so because this is her headspace and this is how she's thinking of this divine masculine. She's like, come on. You're mature enough to take action. Oh, my coffee's almost gone and it was really good. She believes. She does believe. She believes the masculine is taking action. She believes that's what he's been doing too. And she might not be able to see exactly how, but she sees that he will or is about to, something of that nature. And the action, just in case we weren't sure, is the Two of Cups and the Tower. So this is a collective reading. So there's two storylines I can see here. One is a surprising, shocking, like physical meeting, like running into each other, by accident on purpose. Like finally, in some cases, because there are those that are still in karmic connections, finally releasing a relationship. But for me, the overwhelming majority that I'm feeling is really that there is going to be a sudden physical meeting of the minds and the hearts. And this will be an external experience. It will not be internalized. And that's what's destabilizing. And that's why when you're like, oh, I thought I needed to hear communication from my person and that was what I needed, or I thought being with my person was what I needed, and then stupid Four of Pentacles came out. What does it even mean? It means you need to be stable as hell for what you're about to experience in the physical. Because when you ask for something and you receive it, you need to be in a state of being able to receive something that's going to completely and totally transform you. The moth is flying all around here, right? So there's, yeah, this is what Divine Feminine thinks. Because Divine Feminine is like, guess what? There is no conversation without reciprocation, because this is the Six of Pentacles, and that is the tea that I am pouring to you. When we are communicating, it is balanced, it is even. It is not me being like, oh, blah, 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 and then you being like, oh, she never shuts up, and then never talking. Like, no, that's not how it's going to be. And it's not going to be me pouring and pouring and pouring and pouring and pouring into your cup, and me being like, well, who's filling my cup? And then I would say, well, I guess I got to get up and fill my own cup. Well, let me go do that. Which, if I had known how to do that first, I never would have been doing this. So now you know that there's not going to be any meeting of the minds that is not reciprocal. You can't even believe how good this reading is, by the way, from this side. I'm not looking yet at this, but this side is so good. And this is just the headspace. Okay, because the next thing that comes from this understanding that this, finally, there is this even playing field between these two energies, is this communication, which is clarifying the action of the King of Wands. So Divine Feminine took the lead in her life, which probably means she withdrew her energy. She surrendered. She gave up. She's like, okay, I'm not chasing. I'm not saying. I'm not talking. I'm not doing shit. I'm not doing shit. I don't have to. I did all the shit. I poured all the tea. All the tea's in the cup. And now I have to go make more tea for myself. And I was hoping someone else was just going to make my tea before. Now I realize that that's a shitty situation. If I stay in that situation, I'm going to always be expecting I have to make tea and the other person needs my tea. And there's, what the fuck? If I know how to make my tea and he knows how to make his tea, we can sit down together and we could be like, oh, did you taste this flavor? This is a good one. Here, let me give you some of this one. It's pretty great. Oh, I'd love to try yours. That sounds great. I have plenty here, though. So I'm never feeling depleted. And I'm never feeling like I have to put all the pressure on you to be everything, even though you are my everything, which you are, but you don't have to be. I'll still be here. And that's how I've learned to trust myself. And when I can trust myself, I can trust other people, because I don't attract energy that can't be trustworthy. And if I do, I can handle it. 10:33 on the clock. It's fine. So that's why we are ready to receive a communication from this energy, which is super great, because that's what we've been like wishing forever, for there to be a final change, something to finally move us into this Two of Cups energy. That's been our wish with the Nine of Cups, that finally the masculine would release that selfish energy and just open the fuck up, so that we can not have to all the time say everything and feel like we're drowning in our own words and no one is saving us. Like, it's like, please drown me in your words for a change. I don't care if it's overwhelming and shocking. I don't care. I never did. You thought I did and I didn't. Ooh, there's a card under here I didn't realize. By the way, this is a lot of overthinking, but it's because there's I was just going to say, because there's a huge lesson to have been learned, and right underneath this Emperor is the fucking Hierophant. Shut the fuck up. And it's, oh my God. I'm sorry. I'm Italian. I'm very dramatic. And oh my God. And Leo too also. Okay, so here, this Six of Pentacles is being clarified by the fucking Emperor and the Hierophant. So the sacred union, the vow, the commitment, the stability. What's more stable than the Emperor? Only the Emperor and the Empress together. Holy Mother of God. Divine Feminine, I like the way you're thinking. You know what this looks like to me when you're thinking like this? It looks like you're pretty smart. It looks like you figured some shit out. It looks like you learned some lessons. It looks like you have this relationship with a higher power and you trust your intuition. It looks like you have wisdom and that you have surrendered to that wisdom and understanding and comprehension. And it's made you feel worthiness on a level that is allowing you to command empires. Think Martha Stewart. She's my favorite. Who's better than her? She cooks. She has a farm. People like she's very bossy. She's my hero. Okay? That's you right now in your headspace. You're that bitch. And you've also just surrendered to the fact that you're going to be that bitch and have that other bitch in the back of your mind, and that's okay. So let's look at how you feel now, because that's what you think. Does what you think and what you feel line up today? Let's check it out. Oh, I didn't even see that. Stop. Okay, well, we'll get there in a second. So top of the deck, why are you taking the lead? Why are you taking action? Because your ass feels impatient. This is the Seven of Pentacles. This is all being very loving, nurturing, caring, tending to these seeds and being like, oh, I'm tending to the seeds. I'm tending to the seeds. Good job tending to the seeds. Now your ass is done tending to the seeds and there's shit to harvest and you were waiting for somebody to come do it. They didn't do it and you're like, fine, I'm going to harvest my own seeds. I'm going to go on my own tour. Catch me on tour in the fall on the East Coast. 10 cities. Take your action, taking the lead because you got impatient because you're like, Jesus, I know this harvest is here. You're not going to come get it. Somebody wants to come get this harvest with me. Why? Because I'm the fucking Empress. That's my underlying feeling. This is the bottom of the deck. I'm the Empress. And what is the Empress in alignment with? But the Emperor. So do we have thinking and feeling in alignment right now? Fuck yeah, we do. Fuck yeah. That's incredible. I'm super excited for everybody who's here seeing this right now. Notice it's a small group of people. There's a reason for that. Alignment is not easy. It's not simple. And most people give up. But you didn't. And you figured something out. And now you feel abundant, prosperous, creative. You're surrendering because there's that Five of Swords. You're surrendering to the feeling of either allowing something to gestate, which means there's a willingness to just sit with it and know that you're going to give birth and be confident about it and take care of your body during that time while you're waiting. And now you look fucking fabulous and it's time to go and you're ready to pop off and it's going to be fucking great. And you're surrendering to that. You're surrendering to the labor pains. You're surrendering to the delivery. And it's only when you surrender when you're in labor, speaking from experience, it is only when you surrender to what your body is trying to do, which is open you. Only when you surrender to that painful cracking open, literally your bones moving. Only then can you have that child. If you brace yourself against it, your body takes longer to contract, to open. So, damn, you look good. Oh, shit. And this King of Wands energy, that you were waiting to take action, some of y'all moved on. Look at how gorgeous these decks look together. I was so excited to do this reading today once I realized how good these cards were going to look together. This is the Uncommon Tarot, by the way. Oh, C'est Magnifique. And the Tarot of Mystical Moments, if you missed that. And together they form this beautiful head and heart space that I really enjoy. Obviously, I'm a mixed media hoe. I love mixed media, like all day, please. So some of y'all were like, bye, bitch, because you're over here marching to the beat of your own drum, and I need to change. I can't stay here in this painful place with you anymore. It's burning. It's not called twin cuddles. Is that what I said the other night? It's like, oh, twin cuddles. That's not what it's called. It's called twin flames. You're burninating me. And I can't. So I'm going to keep it pushing. You have a nice time. You stay over here in your troubled waters, do your shit, cleanse your soul, fix your shit, heal your shit. I don't know what shit you got to do, but get it done. And I'm going to keep it pushing to this other shore because I want some peace. And Divine Feminine, you know what? That has made you feel incredibly strong. And ironically, it's also made you feel the strength of the connection, how entwined you are. Because despite this release of this person, they are eternally with them and you're eternally controlling thoughts about them. But you are controlling thoughts about them. And that's what's different. And if you're not there yet, you're getting there. Probably today when you see this reading and you're like, fuck, that's true. And if you missed the beginning, go catch it later in the replay on YouTube because the beginning is incredible. This whole reading is incredible. I hope everybody realizes that. So yeah, this is some good shit here. And it's made you strong and you realize how strong the connection is. And you're like, it's going to be fine because of it. And then what is this? What is this? Okay, see, y'all watched me shuffle too, which is great. But so the Six of Pentacles right now is being clarified by Temperance. So the card of pouring is clarified by literally the Alchemist, the card of pouring. Like pouring one into the other. Satisfaction, peace. That's where you wanted to go, and that's where you are. You're calm. You're able, you're an alchemist. You know what an alchemist can do? They can transform baser things into finer things, lower energy into higher energy. And they do it through the connection with the divine, which is freaking incredible. And then stop! This Eight of Wands is being clarified by the Queen of Wands. Look at how good these cards look together. Like, I can't, can I make that up? That's incredible to me. Okay. And this Queen of Wands, who is her match? Right above her? The King of Wands. But who is another match? Overall, herself, the King of Wands, her own counterpart. This is you learning it. This is you actually learning this lesson. Congratulations. You learned. You figured it out. You figured it out. And now, because you have that confidence, because you have an understanding of what you need to do, you are surrendering to your wish fulfillment. Because here is the Five of, this is the Five of, the Five of Swords. That's what I thought. Which was overall, it was the underlying thought in your headspace. So this is how much in alignment your head and heart are. And you literally are surrendering to your wishes. Your wish, this is you saying to yourself, your wish is my command. Okay? And so what is your wish? That you marry this emperor. And who is the emperor? The King of Cups. And the King of Cups was in the TikTok reading that probably some of you landed here seeing. Because it was literally, I think, the second card out from this deck, from the Tarot of Mystical Moments. Which means we saw both of these decks give us the King of Cups at two separate times. And that is just whatever. Like, I can't anymore. So Divine Feminine, that is the feminine side, the emotional side of self. Your person has that side of self. So those thoughts, feelings, and emotions were relevant even to your person. Not just to you if you identify strongly in one energy or the other, but to your person. So your person has had all this happen too. Now let's head over to the masculine side of self. After we finish that, we're going to go back and we're going to do the most important part of the reading, which is the oracles and the healing. That's the part where we get the advice for how to keep this going strong or shift anything that doesn't serve us. But I can't wait to see what is happening over here. All right, let's get started. So we're going to be using one of my favorite decks, the Vice Versa Tarot. This deck is two-sided so that you can see the traditional side, and then you can also see what the back of the card would look like. So as if you were looking from the other side, which is an incredible idea, and kudos to whoever thought of that. But what do we see? What do we see from the divine masculine energy's overall headspace? Well, I don't hate it, because it is a card that is about faith and prayer and resting. It is about silence. And look at, he is having to sit in silence. Silence is loud, though, isn't it? One of my favorite artists is a postmodernist, I guess you would say, a postmodernist musician by the name of John Cage, who is famous for having composed a piece called 4 minutes and 33 seconds, which is just 4 minutes and 33 seconds of silence. And when it was first performed, it enraged the audience, which I love. I love that. I just love that idea to me. Art always enrages people. People were disgusted by Monet. They were like, what the fuck is this? Bullshit painting. He didn't even go to school. Look at this shit. Like, literally, they were just like, what the fuck? I love that. But anyway, this concept that John Cage had is that the music was actually the silence between the notes. And it is in that silence that we are aware of what the sound was like, and that we are conscious of how we enjoyed it or didn't, depending on how the sound was, right? Could be a very painful, irritating, annoying sound, or it can be very, very pleasurable. And it is only when it is gone for a second that we can realize what was happening that made us feel whatever we felt. And the masculine is thinking about that. And then we get, underlying all his thoughts and decisions, the 8 of Cups, walking away. But when you walk away in the 8 of Cups, you walk towards the union of the masculine and feminine inside of self, which requires you to let go and release a lot of things that didn't serve you, a lot of ideas and concepts about yourself and about your friends and the people around you, about your job, your career, about how you acted in relationships, about your accountability. And what we see on the other side of this vice versa deck is the inner child abandoned, being left behind, and wishing for this person to come back. So the masculine is silently reflecting upon his abandonment issues. The first thing on his mind is the Hermit. This is Virgo energy. This is going off. We saw him walk away and go within, which is what he does. This is what he does. But if you look at what he's searching for, you see the 2 dogs from the Moon card and the Divine Feminine. We know also that he's led by the light of the star, which of course is the feminine energy as well. So it's into his feminine intuition that he's going. And as you all just saw, now isn't it interesting that the way that I choose who goes first is who has the most cards that are right side up. And Divine Feminine had the most right side up cards, and her reading was the best. So this masculine has turned away from the worldly things and gone within, and he's following this light, which is taking him to that intuitive part of himself where he feels the way I just read. So he feels like taking up and letting his emotions step up and take the lead, rather than be repressed or pushed into his depths, but to actually be emotionally available. And he couldn't have done that without giving himself the time and space he needed. And that is what he did. the next thing on his mind is the King of Pentacles. So we saw over on the feminine side of self, this idea, this action, this passion, this conviction. And now we see the stability and the material presence over here on the masculine side. Going within and figuring out that his emotions are valuable has made him feel abundant and secure, which is what the theme is of this reading. This is what we need. We need to feel secure. And he does, because this is the present energy. And because of this, remember, this is how he's thinking about himself. We arrive here at the 10 of Cups, which is the bliss, fulfillment, and joy that we arrived at in the reading from another deck from my earlier reading on TikTok, which is mind-blowing. We have the King of Cups, and right after the King of Cups, the 10 of Cups came out from the Tarot of Mystical Moments, and I'm trying to remember the first card. I can't remember the first card. So he feels worthy of being able to be with the divine feminine that he loves and create the life that he was dreaming about. Oh my fucking shit. Stop. Oh my God. So clarifying this hermit energy, I want to die right now, is the Lover's card, which I could see, but it was covering up this freaking Queen of Pentacles, which is the material counterpart of the King of Pentacles. So on the feminine side, we had the Queen of Wands right below the King of Wands in the first position of the spread, in the very first position. And in this reading, we have the King of Pentacles, the material version of the divine masculine, and the Queen of Pentacles, the material version of the Queen of Wands, which is the divine feminine, the same fucking side. And I probably woke my brother up, and I'm sorry, but also wake up and like go get excited because this is amazing. Jesus. Very profound. So we have this hermit energy. Where did the hermit go? Here it is. Being clarified by the Lovers and the Queen of Pentacles. So we know that this is what divine masculine went within to understand. His divine feminine maternal side of self, love, how to love the feminine in reality is what he was trying to understand. It was a fantasy, right? In the moonlight here. And now he wants to make it a reality. Because of this ancient history that he has, this past, and because of this falcon energy, what is meant to be returns to me, right? He gave himself the space and time to come to this understanding of the divine feminine, which brings us here. Oh, he's thinking a lot also, by the way. The overthinking is shared. We have, that is right, children. We have the King of Cups, which means this is a third deck that the King of Cups has appeared in today. And this King of Cups is coming out with the devil, who I mentioned when I thought that this King of Wands was the devil. So now I'm understanding why and what he thinks. He thinks the divine feminine is devilish and breaking his heart. Three of Swords. But he's realizing that he broke his own heart, right? He broke his own heart. That's what the painful truth is about the Three of Swords. It's not the Three of Swords realization or truth is not, oh, this person hurt me. It's I hurt myself by choosing to make decisions that perpetuate my insecurities, 10:55 on the clock. So this divine masculine broke his own heart through his behaviors, his self-indulgence, karmic partners, etc. And the final card that's coming out is the Seven of Swords, but it's coming out with the Ten of Cups. It is clarifying the Ten of Cups. So I know that this is actually about how to bring this about. He's trying to think, okay, how do I now come back to this space where I can have this Queen of Pentacles in the material, where I can express to her my deeply held feelings. And now we arrive at the heart space. So let us look. So, wow, I couldn't even see that card, and it makes so much sense. So I'm using the Prisma Visions Tarot to clarify the vice versa tarot. And we're getting the Five of Pentacles being clarified by the Four of Swords. So the separation, where now masculine is left in the cold and in silence. For the first time, for some masculine energy, they are experiencing no communication that was initiated by the feminine, and may have been with it may have been in a ghosting type of way as well. It may have just been like dropped off. Nothing is happening. There was no explanation, and that is not typical. And so the masculine energy is really feeling abandoned, which is what we saw was underlying his thoughts and decisions, and by a past connection, the Six of Cups, because this is the feeling that was the bottom of the deck for the heart space. So the separation is triggering his abandonment issues from the past, probably with this feminine and also with other feminine energy in his life, right back all the way to the maternal figure, most likely, or the emotional side of the masculine gendered person in the family as well. So if they were emotionally unavailable or emotionally abandoned them, then this masculine is being triggered. So like Father's Day could have triggered these feelings in the masculine because he felt this benign neglect from his father, or no emotional availability from his father. Or he could have had an emotionally unavailable mother or been abandoned by either parent. So it's very, very profound. Now, remember, right now you have been listening to me, and your ego's probably been front seat, and it's got popcorn and it is into it. And I want you to step back for just a minute and remember, this is not just your person. But your masculine side of self fails to take action because of your abandonment wounds that come from a maternal or paternal figure that is likely emotionally unavailable, one or both. And that is why you resonate with this person. Even if this person is not the best person for you, you will resonate with them, because it is difficult to disengage from a parent who is like this. And so you don't know how to disengage from a person who is treating you this way as well. And your parent is somebody that you want to believe is going to accept you, because that is the only way that you can survive. So you keep trying to transform yourself to be accepted. And this is what is happening for all of us in the collective. And that is why all of these readings resonate. This is shared patterns in our relationships. And that is what is overall on the divine masculine's head and in his heart. He is really reflecting upon this. But we saw that his headspace is in this good place. So let's keep going with these feelings. Wow, 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 wow. Clarifying the Hermit is the Temperance card. Where did we see the Temperance card? We saw the Temperance card for the Divine Feminine's reading in her heart space as well, which means they're in union. They feel calm. They feel the turbulent waters have started to be transformed by that alchemical reaction that is divine. That time heals all wounds. It's actually not time that's healing the wounds, right? It's all of what's going on within self that is emanating from that light within. So masculine had to go into that hermit energy abstain from addictions of some kind or calm anger issues, etc. Oh my God, clarifying this King of Pentacles, we have the Six of Wands, which is a card of public acknowledgement, recognition, but it's a card of bringing that peace that is felt into the Temperance and bringing it to the feminine. But this is a different perspective on this card. This card is showing a feminine who, or, you know, it's actually kind of not that clear, but what appears to be a feminine energy in what almost looks like a funeral pyre. So the victory is over the body. The victory is over the physical body. The victory is over being insecure about that, which sounds minor but isn't. And it's also about the perception of self outwardly. So how people perceive you. It's being victorious over those insecurities that have kept the masculine from moving with that energy of the feminine, bringing her that peace. Ten of Cups is being clarified by the King of Wands in reverse. Here is a hiccup, because the divine feminine side of self sure did have the King of Wands. She had two Kings of Wands from the same deck, and then a Queen of Wands to boot. But here we are with the masculine King of Wands in reverse. So it doesn't match. And that's the hiccup. The masculine wants this, but fails to take action. He wants to be monogamous, but has trouble with his sexual energy for some. He wants to feel confident about this, but he is afraid, or angry, or jealous, or anxious, right? This is why he's had to be alone, so he could temper out this pattern within himself. Because this has, oh my, Five of Wands blocked him from this Queen of Pentacles and the Lovers. Not taking action, not communicating, being insecure about competition, being jealous about other suitors, being jealous about competition. And that's what the Temperance card is above. So he's literally tempering jealousy, anger issues, anger with himself for not taking action. But in the current energy, what is clarifying this King of Cups, who is not speaking about his addictions, which is causing this third-party energy of his addiction to come between the union, the Sun. Now, the Sun card is an auspicious card because it's about joy and it's about happiness, but it's also about enlightenment. So this is a happy moment for the masculine because the victory is realizing this. The victory is fully accepting that he, first of all, most likely has an addiction that has needed temperance, but that it has been the thing that has blocked him from his happiness, which in this card we see doesn't look all that joyful. It's kind of a trippy card. And it really makes you think about how the fear that something, right? This is fear. The devil is something you're afraid of. It's your ego. It's the whispers of the ego, right? And your fear is that this is too good to be true, because what happens if you stay too long in the sun? You get a sunburn, right? It's funny because I've been using these two cards together a lot. I've been talking about how in the collective, people miss the nuances of these cards. This is not all darkness and this is not all light. You can have too much of a good thing, and you can have a loss if you don't experience pleasure in your life. You know, if people who don't listen to music because it's a devil music, I'm sorry, you just missed an opportunity to experience God on the earth, to experience transformative sound healing. in some cases, I do think music is there's music that does not have a positive intention. But you cheat yourself if you don't allow yourself to experience all the things that were put here for you to experience. And that's it. And here's the first page I've seen in this reading, and it's in reverse, and I'm fucking happy about it. And it's also being clarified by this Four of Pentacles, which is the theme of this whole reading, which is beautiful, beautiful energy. And I'm so into it. So you are cheating yourself out of that spark that you feel, that excitement, that inspiration, that connection. You're cheating yourself out of that and holding on to the material. And that is what has been keeping the masculine from coming forward. His insecurities. He's trying to get around those feelings of insecurity so that he can have what he wants. But you can't get around them, sir. You have to stabilize. You have to become secure financially and in your heart. So that's where the masculine is. And I can see that he doesn't quite yet grasp that being with the feminine will increase his security. But instead of increasing his feelings of insecurity, because it's just not like other relationships that he's had in the past. But I think he's starting to become aware of that. All right, now we go to probably the most important part. That was I would say this was the juicy part, but the next part is the part that takes this juicy part and transforms it so that it can be even juicier, so that the masculine side of self can be ready to take action as much as the feminine side is ready. It's also the place where I got to check yourself before you wreck yourself kind of stuff. Okay, so it's important for you to know where you need to shift, because if you keep doing the same thing, expecting a different result, y'all know what that means. Thank you for the compliments. Let me just clarify. Do not feed compliments to the double Leo. But no, thank you so much for all of the likes, and thank you for the comments. When I'm channeling, I'm not really able to really keep up with the chats, but just to stop for a second and give you a little bit of information, because I see there's quite a few more people here than when I started. I am Pearl from Pearl in the Prayers. This is Tuned in Tarot, and I am streaming to YouTube at the same time because there will be a replay available, and I don't have to do uploading, and it's the best thing I've discovered so far. So if you are coming here and you didn't see the beginning and you're like, whoa, I really want to see the beginning of whatever was just going on there, you can hop over to the YouTube stream. It is called The Collective Tune In, and then it's called like School by Supertramp, because that's the song that was channeled or shuffled when I was shuffling the cards. So you can go back and you can start from the beginning and then catch up with me, but I'll be gone. Sorry, I'm gonna have to go do some things. Or you can stay here, and if I have enough time at the end, I will do some personal readings for $11, $22, or $33, and I'll talk about that later. But we are about to go into the oracles and the healing part, and it's going to be fun. So get some popcorn. All right. So the first thing we're going to look at are the archetypes that came out for the feminine. Now, the way I look at this is these are the archetypes that will help you, or sometimes if you're in the shadow side of that archetype, releasing the energy of it will help you this week, because I do this reading every Monday. So you can catch me every Monday, and I think I'm going to stick to around 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So 2 things coming out for the feminine side of self. The first thing is releasing the shadow attributes of the Don Juan, which is using the power of romantic attraction for private agendas. What? I don't know what you're talking about. And I think we have to call in the light of spotlighting your positive seductive qualities. So you can be seductive and you can spotlight those qualities and you can draw in your energy and be magnetic, but you better be doing that for the greater good. Watch yourself, divine feminine. Getting too much sexy times energy over on your side, because that is what you don't like to receive, right? The Don Juan is somebody that is just meeting your needs for the moment so that they can get their needs met. And then they move on. I mean, they're still very charming when they do it, but they move on. So you don't want to be in that inconsistent Knight of Wands energy. And the way this looks, if you're like, wait, I'm not even into anybody else, I don't flirt with anybody else, I don't know what that means. Well, first of all, remember, you're also looking at your person's feminine side of self, right? So they may be in the shadow attributes of their Don Juan energy. You're also looking at how you are with your creative and emotional side of self. Are you consistent? Do you show up for your emotions? If you're angry, do you let yourself feel angry, or do you eat it or push it down? Or, do you find outlets for it? Do you use it to write a mad journal entry that helps you figure out all of your limiting beliefs and then turn them into affirmations? Or you don't do that? Okay, well, maybe if you did that, you feel a little different. 1111. How about what do you do in the world that's creative? Are you a writer, a painter, a singer, a dancer, a candlestick maker? Like, what is it that you're doing? Do you love doing it? Are you doing it? Do you do it every day? You show up for it every day? Oh, you don't just flirt with it? What about other things? Do you flirt with other things instead because the other things will give you a payoff? Like maybe you flirt with binging a show. Maybe you flirt with, like doing whatever day job because you don't believe that what you really do, the creative thing that you really do, is going to make you money. I just did a TikTok about this yesterday. This is a big theme. That's a Don Juan energy. I love you, baby, but I'm not going to stick around because I don't have any true security in this thing that we're doing together. And I'm terrified you're going to leave me, abandon me, reject me, disappoint me, or I'm going to do that to you. And then I'm going to look like a fool. And if I look like a fool, everybody's going to shun me. And if everybody shuns me, then I won't get any food. If I don't get any food, then I'll die because I did not learn anything in Girl Scouts or Boy Scouts. And I am not going to be able to survive in the wilderness, most likely. And even if I could, it's going to be lonely and I won't want to anyway. Sound familiar? Okay, cool. Now you understand your person a little better. That's why this part of the reading is so important. So that archetype is really going to, losing this archetype is really going to help you out. If you're inconsistent towards your passions, turn that around. Highlight the things that you're good at. Highlight your positive passions, your creativities. Honor them, show up for them, be passionate about them. And then it came out with the light attributes of gossip, which is awaken the consideration for the feelings of others and honor trust. So be above the board. Don't be doing any of this shady business. And also, I feel like there's this personal agenda thing. If you're doing things on social media, like seductive things, thirst, I see you with your thirst traps every day out there. If you're doing that, honor the consideration of your person. Like if you're trying to seduce your person, if you're trying to push or pull the person like that, just don't do that. Just speak to your person. Don't whisper to them. Unless you're doing ASMR, and then go in and I'll be there and I'll be very calm and relaxed with you. All right. Your guardian for this week is my favorite. We've got St. Francis of Assisi here, the animals card, which is about loyalty and companionship. Oh, and I was just looking for Bowie, but I forgot she's downstairs with her new best friend, my family dog Spike, he's 10 years old, and since she's been here, like, has shaved off a couple of years. Literally, like, I brushed off a couple of years of hair from him because he's also a husky mix, so he's like shedding his undercoat. And he looks younger. He's running around. They're having a great time. But their energy of unconditional love, if I called to Bowie right now in distress, she would be at my side. Like that feeling of companionship that you have from the creatures in your life is a really positive energy for you. And it's a reminder of unconditional love. So, Abraham Hicks always says, if you're in a negative place, like pet your cat, go and like, for me, that's got a double meaning, but both things work, but just to distract yourself from whatever it is, to pull yourself into a much more calm or balanced state. And it's about loyalty. So we're getting loyalty and consideration coming up. The mindset that is going to help you, and this is something that you clearly already have, but this is reinforcing this mindset. It is, my faith has the power to turn trauma into healing, conflict into growth, and fear into love. So you already believe this. It's already taken root within you, and you just have to reinforce it. So I'm going to say it again to reinforce it. My faith has the power to turn trauma into healing, conflict into growth, and fear into love. So that's the mindset for this week. Then we have, wow, this is interesting, crystals and amplification. And I just saw a video today on TikTok about crystals and how our computers have crystals in them, and all the ways that crystals have been used. People are like, oh, crystals don't have power. And it's like, clearly crystals have magnetic fields and all this kind of shit, or we wouldn't be using them to literally power technology. And I just saw 44 on the timer here. So like, use crystals to amplify your energy. And also this is about clarifying things and crystallizing things. So when something works, like set it in. I got a specific type of planner that has like a priority section, and it works for me. And so I crystallize that shit. I put it into I put it where I see it, so that I write in it, use it, and it really helps me. So do those things to get clarity about what works, and then amplify what it is that you want. And you can actually work with crystals as well. Here's your theme for the week, Divine Feminine. The Four of Cups. Seeing as you need the Four of Pentacles. The Four of Cups is being all dreams and fantasy. It's about missed opportunity and about not tuning into that offer of that own love you have for yourself, and instead pouring out energy and time into other things. And it's about grounding and meditation. So grounding and meditation are really big for you this week. And I would say add crystals to that to amplify it. I'm just like trying to picture myself like 10 years ago being like, okay, in 10 years, you're going to be telling people, listen, you really need to like ground and meditate, and you should use crystals to amplify it. I feel like I would be like, ew, what is that even? Okay, so now we're going to go over to, oh, wait, no, we can't yet, because we didn't get the spirit animal oracle, and we can't have that. We need the spirit animal. This is the best deck ever by Colette Baron Reed. And clearly I didn't feel like that was complete without it. So we won't be sorry. Even though my OCD is a little triggered right now by this being out of order. Oh my God. Okay. Must be we need to end with this message for you. God damn it. I'm so mad. The freaking turtle spirit, guys. Oh, the universe is just so, the sense of humor. Oh my God. If you don't have a sense of humor, you don't have a soul. That's how I feel, because the universe is hilarious. So, wow. Okay. Just so funny. So funny. Okay. So the freaking feminine that needs to hear this message today. Pushing too hard or rushing to leave others in the dust is not the way of turtle spirit, even if it seems at times it is the way of the world. Turtle spirit wants you to remember that you are a human being, not a human doing. In the protection position, turtle spirit is giving you the message that the best thing to do right now is let go of the drive to compete or control and do more. Instead, simply be. As an old Norse saying goes, we do without doing and everything gets done. Spirit conspires on your behalf. So slow to a crawl or even stop, releasing any fear that life is a race that you might be losing. Trust that peace, prosperity, love, and purpose are all yours to enjoy right now. Do not do, simply be. So slow and steady wins the goddamn race. That's like the Knight of Pentacles energy for me. And I don't Love it. Okay, but it's fine. I must have needed that message. You see how I tried to avoid it? The universe is like, nope, you can't avoid that message. You better shovel that spirit animal oracle so I can tell you need to just be patient. I'm not. Okay, we're going to move on. Divine Masculine, very interesting message for you today from your archetype. Blank slate, bro. And it's in reverse, which means you're in the shadow attributes of the blank slate. It's, you really need to fill this picture in. There is a part of you that just refuses to desire anything to a certain extent because you don't want to be disappointed. I was just in the grocery store yesterday and there was a girl who was like, oh, I have a headache. And I was like, oh, did you hydrate? She's like, yeah, whatever. And she's like, I think it's just from doing the same thing, repeating the same thing day after day. And I was like, oh, and then I wanted to like help shake her out of it. So I was like, well, if I just gave you all the money in the world right now and you didn't have to worry about it, like, what would you do? And she's like, well, first, she was like, I'd party, honestly. And I was like, cool. Well, after you did that, because I'm sure you need to like cut it loose for a while. But once that got boring, like, what would you do? And then she was like, oh, I'd probably sleep. And I was like, dope, me too. I would sleep for 1,000 years. And then when you wake up after that, like, what would you do? And she was like, I don't know. And I was like, well, when you were little, like, did you do anything? Was there anything you played that you like to do? You know, like some people like to color or some people like this. And she was like, no, my dad really wasn't there a lot. And I was like, so she didn't even get to play, is what I inferred from that comment. And I was like, oh, you know, like, well, you should let yourself play now. And when you play, you'll start to find what you like to do. And that'll help get you out of that repetitive cycle. And then I wished her a good day and I went and I left. And I thought about the number of times I've had that conversation, which is a lot of times. I used to drive for Lyft and I would have that conversation a lot, 11:22 on the clock. And it would always be surprising to me every time because I have always had the privilege of being able to desire big things for myself and really let myself want them. And I know that that is a privilege that not everybody has, and not everybody is given an environment where that's cultivated within them. And even if that's cultivated, maybe not encouraged. And so it was like she didn't even let herself imagine what she would truly desire. And that is what's happening for the masculine. He wants this, but the reason why he can't take action is because he won't even let himself imagine that the outcome will be positive. Gorgeous. Okay. The thing is, though, he is being given this archetype to work with this week, which is that he is a visionary. He does have the ability to fill in these blanks. And the light attributes of not knowing what you want is that you are a blank slate and you can be whatever you desire, which is what I said to the girl. Go play and see what's fun. And once you figure out what's fun, you'll know what you want because it will be what is fun. And this says capacity to envision what is not yet conceivable to others, a willingness to proclaim a vision without regard for personal gain. So this is also being able to be a visionary for the collective consciousness and for the union itself. And then your support divine masculine energy is Saint Mother Teresa. On a very minor level, I'm doing this right now with the furniture that I need to put into my room because I'm truly, I have a lot of expenses right now, and that I'm working on figuring out how to stabilize, get into this 4 of Pentacles energy of abundance, which comes from getting personal readings on TikToks and from booking personal readings and from music, working with music production students and everything. And I have, and I'm doing all the things that I'm needing to do, and I am stabilizing, but there are things that I want to give myself to increase my comfort so that I can do my job better, things like that. And it's being afraid to even like look up things because I don't want to see the price of it, because then I'll be like, oh, now I have to make this amount of money, which is not true. I don't have to make an amount of money. I just have to envision what I want, but I'm afraid to envision it and be disappointed. So that's a really small little micro example of what is going on in a larger way for the masculine in terms of his love life, right? This is just how you might be having that energy in your own life. So this is your guardian, Saint Mother Teresa, and it's the activist. So this problem you're having of not being able to take action, it's not a problem. It's being handled. Do you see the handling? Do you see it? Like, these are saints. This is not like a little thing. Like, even if you're not a Catholic and you don't believe in all the saints, whatever, the saints carried an energy that became something that other people became conscious of. And what Saint Mother Teresa makes us conscious of is activism for the poor, for the impoverished, for the suffering, for those that are out in the cold. She literally is the one who goes and ministers to this person here. And when no one else would, And this is a part of humanity that we have embodied through Mother Teresa. When someone is being kind or a martyr, in my generation, we think of this saint who was the saint from our time. And that's a powerful, powerful energy. So whether you believe in this saint or not, you are imbued with this collective consciousness that you can minister to the part of yourself that is abandoned. That's the fear that you have, that you can go to that part of self, that you can bring this maternal energy, minister to this part of self, and enrich it through love. So that is done for the masculine. Doesn't have to worry about it. Saint Mother Teresa is on it. We've got the mindset that the masculine already has, and we're just reinforcing it. So this is good. We're not getting a lot of we need to cultivate. It's like, no, you know this 111 on my timer here. You know this already, and we just need to reinforce this. And this is my energy creates my reality. What I focus on is what I will manifest. That's absolutely right. So masculine, if you are focused right now on the silence and the deprivation and the lack and the abandonment, that is what you are experiencing. And it is so obvious. That is so obvious, right? If you are focused on lack and not communicating with your feminine, and the feminine is in her 6 of Swords energy, which is, hey, I don't choose to stay in a place of lack with you. I'm sorry, I cannot do that. I must go. Then you are creating a scenario where you are being abandoned. But the truth is, you're never abandoned by the feminine because she is always holding on to her love for you. But love is not a reason to be diminished. And she realizes this now. Before, she was holding on to the separation with you. Now she is holding on to her love. And when you feel love, you feel secure enough to move on. And that is why when you're seeing these readers that are telling you that you can't be with anyone else, or that you're always going to feel like you're settling with your twin, they are just on a journey where they haven't learned this lesson yet. And that's okay. You're learning it now. You can't be with your twin until you feel secure. And security means you don't need to be with your twin, period. You let it go. And you still feel great. And you still can have joy. And you still can have love. And when you can do that, and so let's look at it this way. The divine feminine she cuts off contact, communication in whatever way. She pulls back. She focuses on herself. The masculine is now experiencing his abandonment wounds. He's feeling rejected. He's feeling like, oh, she didn't love me, I guess. But in the past, that is what he would do. I guess she didn't really love me. And he would run to someone else or something else, distraction of some kind. It didn't work. He would feel bad about it. He would come crawling back, make some kind of gesture to the feminine who would be there. Then he would be like, oh, I'm loved. I'm loved. I'm loved. I'm loved. I'm so loved. I'm 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 loved. Meanwhile, the feminine would experience the frustration with giving and giving and giving, and the masculine just going, there's a little breadcrumb from my table, and my table is vast. And I have a lot of wine on it and a lot of rich foods, and there's other people that I invite to my table. I welcome them to my table. I pull up chairs for them. I hang on their every word. I suck their dicks later. That's who comes to my table, and that's what they get. But during all this time that I'm doing all these things, which I'm really doing because I am terrified and running full force away from the powerful feelings that I have, for that somebody who could nurture me and love me the way you do could be gone. I'm distracting myself from that. You are not doing any of those things, and all you're getting is just a crumb from me here and there. And it's breadcrumbs. a trail of them leading into the forest, which, by the way, leads you to the house made of candy where the witch eats you. And then the feminine is like, yeah, no, I have my own table, it turns out, and I have nourishing foods at it. And the people around it are loving and kind and connected and caring and feeling and emotionally available and safe. And I don't beg. I never have to beg. I'm sorry. Have you met me? Do you see me? Can you see what I can do? Do I need to beg? Do I need to be, oh, please, can you get a personal reading today? Because I just really need it. No, I don't need to do that. And I never did. I can just be me and do the things I do and value myself and value others' time and create value through my own inherent value and worth. And I don't need to beg for a seat at your table anymore. So when that happens and the masculine is sitting there in that abandonment, in that space of abandonment, this time, the masculine realizes, oh, even when there's no communication, there is love. Even when there is silence, there is love. And all I have to do is go to it. And it will never go away. It will never go. I've tested every boundary. I've tested every limit. I've figured out, this is fucked up, but I figured out my mom loves me, right? My dad loves me. My parent loves me. I figured it out. And that's the thing I've been trying to figure out for my whole life. Does this person really love me? Of course they do. Are they good at expressing it? Probably not. How come? Because no one ever gives us these real lessons, because having functional human beings running around would mean that a lot of things we do to each other, we wouldn't be willing to do to each other, and we wouldn't be willing to accept either. It would mean tolerance. It would mean the space people needed to be themselves. It would mean that we didn't leave people out in the cold. It would mean all of the things that all of the major world religions try to create would happen because of the love that people felt for themselves when they stopped focusing on how people weren't doing what they were supposed to be doing, which is all religion is now, to a certain extent. Like, there's still wonderful things about religion, but there's a very problematic element, which is, hey, you need to do it this way or you're doing it wrong. And if you're doing it wrong, I think you should die. I think you should die. I think you should not be here because you're polluting all of my environment and you're polluting my children and their children's children, and all your views are stupid and wrong and you're a stupid, dumb asshole and I want you to die. Wow, that sounds so religious. Or oh, everybody is bad, inherently bad, and trying to get shit from you, and so you shouldn't do any charity for people because they're probably just screwing you. And I guess the point is, even if somebody's screwing you and you're giving them something, who gives a fuck? Are you so important? Who cares? At least you created your karma and they created theirs, and it's not up to you to do that person's karma or that's not on you. As long as they are not hurting someone else, you let them live in their shit and watch what happens, and just continue to give. Because if you stop giving because you're afraid that no one is really deserving of what you have, then that means that you feel that inherently you don't deserve the things people give you either, because they're reflecting back to you your own sins. If you're like, well, I'm not going to give that person charity because they're just going to go buy alcohol, and then you go buy alcohol and feel ashamed, guess what? You were just like, if I was in need, I hope somebody didn't give me money because I would probably just go buy alcohol. Where's the lie? Okay, let's get back to it. But actually, the rattle and disperse. Everything I just said is dispersing a lot of the ideas we have that are really holding us back. The ideas we have about somebody not loving us, withdrawing their love, being in a space where there is no love, where there is love. There's never not love. When people ask me, does my person love me? I'm like, I mean, yes, there are times when people are in relationships with people who are just using them and there's not love there. That's true. I should contextualize. But for the most of the part, when I'm for the most of the part, for the most point, when a divine feminine asks me, does my divine masculine have love for me? That's usually not the problem. That's usually not the thing that's going on. There's usually so much love there. It's not about love. You can have love for something and still not do it. I love classical piano music, and I really wish I could play as a virtuoso. But I don't put my time and energy into that because I fear I will be disappointed. So disperse these things that are like, shake off these limiting beliefs, shake off these fears, and transform those ideas with that rattlesnake energy. And then masculine, God up in heaven, here's your chariot energy, the energy of moving forward, stabilizing because your team is balanced and pulling forward. It is moving to the next place because you've surrendered control to the divine. Your ego is not driving anymore. You've given up the reins. That is what you need to cultivate this week, sir. And here is your spirit animal that will help you. This is nothing is wasted. So if you're afraid something is over, or you know that you wasted your time or whatever, just know that nothing is wasted. And this is the protection message. And interestingly, it is progressive. Divine feminine, you received the 62 card, and masculine got the 63 card. So literally, you're just progressing, okay? Oh, divine masculine, do you wish you could run away from your past or deny your mistakes? Not so fast, says Vulture Spirit. You have gained something valuable from the experience. Let your grief or anger move through you, and soon your emotions will transform, for you will come to see that you have learned and grown. The alchemy of transformation is a gift from Spirit, so never disown what embarrassed, disappointed, or shamed you. It will soon be a source of great wisdom and strength as you work with the magic that allows miracles to be created out of sadness and beauty to arise from ugliness. Vulture Spirit wants you to know that you embody beauty, and the alchemical transformation of the past is happening already. Hang in there. You are so loved, and so much beauty is waiting to come out of all of this. Take that advice, masculine. All right. Oh, weird. Why did I flip that card over? We are at the end of the reading. I'm going to read these oracle cards here. These are the final messages for both masculine and feminine energies. I will do some personal readings. If anyone would like a personal reading, I will do them over on TikTok. So after the oracles here, I will close out the YouTube reading, and then I will focus on TikTok over here, and we will do $11, $22, or $33 readings. So $11, $22, $33. And that's 1, 2, or 3 position spreads with a minimum of 6 cards for the 1 position spread, and 1, 2, or 3 oracles. And I will probably have about a half an hour in me, so I'll probably do just a couple. But that will be available. And then I may come back on later this evening. If not, I will be here for sure on Wednesday. I think usually on Wednesdays I do like 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. somewhere in there. I go live on TikTok, and you can get those personal readings. You can also, of course, book a private reading right at the link in my profile, as well as there's a custom reading which you can use for anything. If you just want to talk to me about your journey, if you just want to, sometimes people just want to talk about where they're at, and there's not a specific question you have. It is just basically getting to have an hour to communicate with me and get whatever you need from me. And there's also a few types of readings that you can look through there, and all of the readings can be pre-recorded, but the ones that are below $100 are all pre-recorded. There are not virtual sessions available for under $100. That is all you need to know about booking private readings. You can, of course, become a member for $3.33 a month, which is a really great way to support me. It's a small donation, but a lot of people supporting me will add up over time. So it's very helpful to stabilize me in my 4 of Pentacles energy. And you now get the Tell Me Everything spread and all the ones I've done back through this past year, as well as the Friday readings that I'm doing now, where I basically choose one tarot card and I focus on it and look at that energy and how it is showing up for both sides of self. And so it's like a check-in with a specific card, so you kind of get more familiar with the concepts of each card. And I'm using the Hermetic Tarot, which is an esoteric deck and has a lot of information on it for us to talk about. So that is happening for members each week. And I think that is all the announcements. And of course, you can see me 6 days a week on TikTok doing the 3-minute Tell Me Everything spreads most of those days, although I change it up once in a while. But I always go back. You know, we can't get enough of that Tell Me Everything spread. We're all addicted. It's fine. We wouldn't be if people talked to each other or if we understood ourselves, but it's fine. Okay, let's complete this reading. We are now looking at the archetypes that will help both of you this week. We got the Destroyer coming out with the Rebel in reverse. And when the Rebel is in reverse, this is rejecting legitimate authority out of anger and rebelling out of peer pressure or fashion. And in the Light, it's challenging authority to affect social change, rejecting spiritual systems that do not serve your inner needs. So I sense that there is this urge to just destroy everything, just to rebel against the timeline and your person being so infuriating about how they're acting or whatever it is. You know, you're just like over it and you're just kind of really, you know, pushing against the feelings that you're having. You're just like, fuck this. I just want to fucking burn it to the ground. And I mean, I hear you, bro. Like, I'm like, listen, there shouldn't be any violence. And I'm also like, burn it to the ground. like, no rules, anarchy, chaos, like destroy. And then a part of me that's like, no, let's just love each other and be peaceful. And that would probably be my Leo and my Pisces fighting against each other. Like, God help y'all if I had another fire sign placement. Y'all be fucked. I would be burning everything to the ground all the time. But my Pisces is like, no, we just need to like help people heal and then we won't need to burn them. And I'm like, they burned me for centuries. Like, let me burn them now. Like, no. Calm down. Stop destroying things. But destruction brings renewal. It brings change. It shifts and grows. I've always been strangely prosaic since childhood. And I would hear about a terrible event like, oh, the massive earthquake. And I would be like, wow, that's terrifying. And then I would be like, well, at least they have like new things to build now. Says a 6-year-old. And you're like, true, they do now they can build new things. That's true, but there's also, all the things that were destroyed. And but like now, it's like now you can come up with new things. And that's true. That is true. And the light attributes of the destroyer are releasing what is potentially destructive and preparing for your new life. So rather than rebel against your nature, embrace your nature and just release the things that are not serving you and prepare to receive that tower moment that the divine feminine was knowing was coming in regards to this connection or this relationship. Your guardian angel is supporting you in this learning experience, and there is a dove there in her hand. So there is peace that's coming from learning these lessons. You don't need to be having anxiety over the tests anymore. You can just be at peace. It's a really beautiful energy, and you're so supported in that energy. The mindset that you need to maintain is that joy is the ultimate creator. And that is absolutely true. We create from a place of joy, 11:44 on the clock. And I would say that we can equally create from a place of sorrow. But which experiences would you rather have? Because I know personally, I would rather have the ones I'm creating through joy. And I'm getting a little tired of the ones I create through sorrow. So I'm looking for joy being the ultimate creator for my life right now. And the energy of the shapeshifter is important for us right now. Can you see the bird? And then can you see the woman becoming the bird? That's a shift in perspective here. And it's a beautiful way to illustrate that we need to shift and flow with our energy. And we do that by gaining perspective. So when you're feeling like blaming someone else, stop and hold up a mirror and ask yourself, wait, how do I do this? Not because you need to take responsibility for everybody being shitty, but because if you can figure out how you do this and your motivation for why you do what you do, then you can have understanding and compassion for the other person, and you can negotiate with someone you can understand. You can meet them where they're at, and you can also determine if that's possible or not. And it requires your ability to be able to shift and flow with your own energy and understand how your energy works inside, and to become who you need to be in every situation. Hello, Sarah. Good morning. Okay. The theme for the Divine Masculine today is the Emperor. And Divine Feminine is fully aware of it because she knew that that is where this is headed. She knew that this Emperor is going to be able to be committed because he will have learned his lesson. Because she taught him his lesson. And she didn't do it because she's a mean bitch. She did it because the universe was like, hey, Divine Feminine, do you want to be treated with respect and love and adoration? And Divine Feminine was like, yes. And the universe is like, then you need to treat yourself with respect and love and admiration. And do you know how to do that? And the Divine Feminine was like, not really. And the Divine was like, okay, let me show you. Today, you are going to feel like shit until you disconnect from this person. You're going to feel like shit the whole day until you release this person. And when you release this person, you're going to release all your energy. You're going to pull back your angels, your spirit guides, your ancestors. You're going to be like, listen, I don't want a single one of you to protect this person from their karma, because even though I wanted to protect them from pain or getting hurt in any way, if I do that, if I enable them, they will never, ever see a reason to change. And I can't force them to change. I can't make them change. You know how I know that? Because I've had a really hard time forcing myself to do anything. I've only been able to shift and flow with my own energy to find what works for me. So I've got to do that here. And if I am focused and on this other person, then I am knowing that my own energy is depleted and I can't shift and grow myself. And so I'm going to call my power back. And literally the Divine commanded that you do that. So it's not like you were like, oh, I'm going to teach this person a lesson. And if you were, you are probably at an earlier stage in your development. And that's okay, because you're learning the lesson of teaching someone else a lesson from a place of spite. It doesn't feel good. And you go right back to the person. And then you feel like a fool. And it's fine. You're not a fool. You're human. You're human and divine. That is anthropos. Jesus still questions God at the cross, right? He still questions decision-making things happening, going on. Human and divine. That's the point. But now the Emperor has a solid foundation and has worthiness. He realizes that his worthiness doesn't come from these little breadcrumbs. It comes from who he is always, whether he's pleasing her or not pleasing her. She is pleased. And even when she's not pleased, she is fulfilled. And this is the big one for you, Divine Masculine. Your spirit animal oracle is open to infinite possibility. Be open. It is number 59. This is for everybody, by the way, not just the masculine. I was just thinking masculine because it was the masculine energy, but both of you feel worthiness right now. When cynicism says no, Starfish Spirit says yes 1,000 times over. Are you willing to entertain new possibilities? Are you limiting your goals in order to be realistic and cutting yourself off from the power of dreaming big? Let go of your rigid beliefs about what is possible for you, and let Starfish Spirit inspire you to open your heart and your eyes to what Spirit has available to you. Now is the time to stretch beyond the familiar and unfurl yourself, for you are meant for more than you are imagining for yourself. Spirit wants the best for you and will support you in achieving whatever intention you hold dear. Okay. This was a beautiful reading today. I am going to now shift over to doing personal readings on TikTok for about another 30 minutes, which is probably all I have in me. And for my people watching on YouTube, you can shift over there if you want to get any more messages, because sometimes collective messages, well, not sometimes, all the time, collective messages come out in the messages that I do here on TikTok. So hop over to Pearl's Prayers. There's a link in the description box below. There's also a place where you can send me a deck if you would like to send me a deck, or leave a gratuity if you feel that you've received some value from today's reading. I do appreciate all donations. I am going to pick up my son tomorrow in Massachusetts, and then he will be living with me. He's coming here to stay with my parents, and then we will be finding an apartment in September. So I have a lot on my plate because I'm also planning a tour. I love that for me. And you can be involved, you can donate, you can participate. Click the links, share the things, do the things. Thank you so very much. I will see you again. If you are a member on Thursday, you'll receive an unlisted link to the Tell Me Everything full-length spread. And then again on Friday, another reading. And then if you are just a regular YouTube subscriber, I shall see you next Monday doing this reading, or on TikTok 6 days a week doing live readings, live paid readings, and the 3-minute Tell Me Everything spreads that I do each day, or most days. All right, I shall see you over on TikTok. Have the best day, YouTubes. Bye. Oh.